I plummeted from the penthouse ledge, the wind screaming like 1,000 unpaid debts ripping through my ears. My sister's manicured nails still burning on my skin from where she'd shoved me. "You were always the spare tire, Julia," she'd hissed, her voice slicing sharper than the glass shards waiting below. But as the concrete rushed up to claim me, time fractured. My heart didn't stop. It rewound, hurling me back into the suffocating heat of that godforsaken summer day 3 years earlier, when I was 25 and still believed blood meant loyalty. My eyes snapped open to the familiar sting of sweat-soaked sheets in my cramped Brooklyn apartment, the kind with peeling wallpaper and a window that overlooked a dumpster fire of an alley. For a split second, I thought it was just another nightmare, the kind that had plagued me since Dad's accident 5 years back, the one where his Porsche wrapped around a guardrail on the Taconic Parkway, leaving Mom a widow with a trust fund and 2 daughters she pretended to love equally. But no. The calendar on my nightstand screamed July 15th, 2022. Not 2025. Not the year I'd clawed my way to the top of Vanguard Investments only to have it all yanked away by the people who'd sworn to have my back. I bolted upright, my pulse hammering like a junkie's fix gone wrong. My hands, younger, unscarred by the boardroom battles, trembled as I grabbed my phone. No missed calls from Elena, my so-called best friend who would later testify against me in that sham trial. No emails from the SEC breathing down my neck about irregularities in the family portfolio. Just a text from Mom, "Family dinner tonight. Be there or be square." Lily's got big news. Lily. My golden child sister. The one who'd always been the investment. The polished gem Dad funneled every dime into while I scraped by on student loans and side hustles. The betrayal hit me like a freight train all over again. But this time, I wasn't the broken doll anymore. I was the ghost with a second chance. And hell if I wasn't going to make them pay. Slowly. Methodically. With the kind of ruthless precision that would leave them questioning every shadow in their gilded cages. I swung my legs over the bed, bare feet hitting the cool hardwood that I'd later afford to replace with marble. The mirror across the room showed a face I hadn't seen in years, fierce hazel eyes, dark curls wild from sleep, lips pressed into a line that said survivor more than victim. I died knowing the truth. Mom and Lily had orchestrated Dad's crash. Not an accident, but a hit. Insurance payout funneled straight into Lily's startup dreams, while I got the scraps and the blame when the feds started sniffing around. They'd framed me for embezzlement, painted me as the jealous black sheep, and when I fought back, Lily finished it with that rooftop push. "For the family," she'd whispered, like it was a benediction. But now I remembered every detail. The burner phone records. The offshore accounts. The way Elena's eyes had darted when she handed over falsified docs. This time, I'd flip the script. I'd play the dutiful daughter, the supportive sister, all while digging up the graves they'd buried their sins in. And when the house of cards came tumbling, I'd be the one holding the match. By noon, I was suited up in my thrift store blazer, the one I'd worn to my first interview at a mid-tier firm, and heading to the subway. The city buzzed around me like it always did, yellow cabs honking obscenities, street vendors hawking knockoff Rolexes, the endless grind of ambition that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. I loved it then, hated it now, knew it too well. As the train rattled toward Midtown, I pulled out my notebook, old school paper, because digital trails were for amateurs, and started listing players. Mom, Victoria Hale, queen of passive aggression, who'd cry crocodile tears at Dad's memorial while cashing his checks. She'd always said, "Julia, handle your own messes."
Dear.
Lily's the one with potential. Potential to bankrupt us all. More like Lily, 22. Fresh out of Columbia with an MBA that Dad bought her way into. Charismatic as a cult leader. Ruthless as a Wall Street shark. Her big news tonight? Probably announcing her engagement to that sleazy venture capitalist,
Trent.
who'd later help launder the dirty money. Elena, my roommate, my confidant, my Judas. She'd sleep with my boss for a promotion and smile while doing it. And Trent, the wild card. Charming on the surface, but with ties to the kind of Russian oligarchs who made creative accounting look like child's play. I stepped off at Grand Central, weaving through the chaos like a shadow. First up, the public library. Not glamorous, but it had free Wi-Fi and microfiche archives that no one's hacking. I needed to confirm the timeline without tripping any alarms. Dad's death was still 2 years out, plenty of runway to plant seeds of doubt. Hours blurred as I cross-referenced old news clippings. There it was, the initial police report on the crash, buried under fluff pieces about Lily's sorority philanthropy. A single line about suspicious brake fluid levels. Dismissed as wear and tear. But I knew better. Lily had access to the garage keys. Mom handled the maintenance. By the time I surfaced, my eyes burned, but my plan was crystallizing. Step 1. Infiltrate. Get close. Pretend to be the broken toy they could manipulate. Dinner was at the family brownstone on the Upper East Side, a relic of old money that Dad had clung to like a life raft. I arrived fashionably late, arms loaded with a bottle of cheap Merlot, my signature move to remind them I was the struggler. The doorman buzzed me up, his nod perfunctory. Inside, the air smelled of rosemary and resentment, Mom's roast chicken sizzling in the kitchen like a ticking bomb. "Julia, there you are," Mom trilled from the dining room, her voice all honeyed edges. She was perched at the head of the table, pearls gleaming against a cashmere sweater that cost more than my rent. Lily lounged beside her, legs crossed in designer jeans, scrolling her phone with the boredom of someone who knew the world owed her. "Sorry."
Traffic, I lied.
Sliding into my seat. The table was set for 4 me,
Mom.
Lily, and the ghost of Dad. "What's the big news, Lil?"
Spill.
Lily looked up. Her blue eyes, Dad's eyes, sparkling with that calculated innocence. "Well, if you must know." She paused for effect, glancing at Mom for applause. "Trent proposed last night. On the yacht. Can you believe it?" Mom clapped like it was the Emmys.
Oh.
"Honey, it's perfect. Richard would be so proud." Richard.
Dad.
The name hung like smoke. I forced a smile, clinking my glass against theirs. "Congrats. Trent's a catch." "What's next? World domination?" Lily laughed. "Too loud." "Something like that. He's got this investor lined up, big fish from Moscow. We're launching Hail Tech next month. AI for finance. Revolutionizing everything. Hail Tech. The shell company that would later funnel the insurance scam." I sip my wine, letting the bitterness coat my tongue. Sounds ambitious. "Need any help? I know a thing or two about numbers." Mom waved it off. "Julia, darling, you've got your little job. Let Lily handle the big leagues. Remember what your father always said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps." The words landed like slaps, echoes of a lifetime of being sidelined. I'd bootstrapped all right through community college, night shifts at diners, clawing into finance while Lily partied on Daddy's dime. But tonight, I swallowed the retort.
Right.
Bootstraps it is. As we ate, the conversation flowed like syrup, Mom gushing over wedding venues, Lily name-dropping celebs Trent knew. I nodded, laughed in the right places, all while my mind raced. Under the table, my foot tapped a Morse code of fury. You'll burn. It signaled to the polished oak. All of you. After dessert, cheesecake that stuck in my throat like regret, I offered to clear plates. In the kitchen, alone for a beat, I palmed Mom's iPad from the counter. Password, Lily's birthday. Amateur. A quick scroll through emails, nothing damning yet. But there, a thread with Trent about contingency plans for the Porsche's upgrades. Brake lines. Maybe? My blood ran cold. But my resolve hardened. Back in the dining room, Lily was showing off her ring. A rock that could fund a small nation. Jealous, she teased, holding it under my nose. Thrilled for you, I said, meeting her gaze. In my old life, that would have been the end of it, me fading into the wallpaper.
But now?
Just promise me one thing. When you hit it big, don't forget the little people. She smirked. Never. That night, back in Brooklyn, I couldn't sleep. The city hummed outside, a lullaby of sirens and distant arguments. I paced my apartment, notebook open to a fresh page. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon with landmines. First, I needed leverage. Elena was key. She was already sleeping her way up at Goldman. But in this timeline, I could steer her ambitions toward me. Make her owe me. The next morning, I called in sick to my data entry drone job and hit the streets. Coffee in hand, black. No sugar. Like my soul now, I headed to a cyber cafe in Hell's Kitchen. Cash only. No cameras. Using a VPN I'd memorized from my future self's paranoia, I started digging. Public records first. Dad's will amendments. The ones Mom had updated post-crash. Then, deeper, dark web forums where finance whistleblowers lurked. By evening, I had a name, Viktor Kuznetsov, Trent's Moscow contact. Alleged ties to money laundering rings. If I could connect the dots to Hailtech. But doubt crept in like fog off the Hudson. Was this justice or madness? In my first life, I trusted them. Loved them despite the slights.
Now.
Every smile from Lily felt like a knife twist. And what if I failed? What if exposing them dragged me down too?
No.
Failure wasn't an option. I died once. Living half alive was worse. Week 1 blurred into a haze of feigned normalcy. Dinners with the family, where I'd drop subtle probes. Hey, Lil, ever think about Dad's car? Weird how it just gave out. Watching her flinch, then recover with a quip. Work, where I volunteered for the audit team, positioning myself to spot red flags early. And nights, alone, piecing together the puzzle. I found the mechanic's receipt first, tucked in Mom's junk drawer during a casual visit. Brake fluid drained. Billed to Lily's card.
Bingo.
But leverage needed teeth. I reached out to Elena over drinks at our usual dive. The rusty nail. She was there, all wide-eyed ambition and low-cut tops, nursing a Cosmo.
Jules.
Long time. What's new? Everything, I said, sliding into the booth. In the old days, I'd vent about family drama. Now, I listened. She spilled, sleeping with her boss for a shot at private equity. Hating the grind.
Perfect.
You know,
And
I hear Vanguard's hiring. I could put in a word, get you in the door. Her eyes lit up. For real? What's the catch? No catch. Sisters in arms. Right? Lies. All of it. But by week's end, she'd owe me. And debts like that, they compound with interest. As August heat thickened the air, Lily's wedding planning ramped up. Invites went out. A lavish affair at the plaza. Mom pulled me aside one afternoon in the brownstone sunroom, her voice dropping to that conspiratorial whisper. Julia, I know things have been uneven, but Lily needs this boost. You're strong. You'll land on your feet.
strong. The word that had chained me.
Always have, I replied, hugging her just tight enough to feel her stiffen. In her eyes, I saw the flicker, the guilt she'd drown in Chanel no.
5.
But she didn't know the half of it. My first real move came at a networking gala Lily dragged me to. Trent's doing. Black tie. Champagne flutes. The elite of Manhattan mingling like sharks in chum. I cornered him by the bar. All wide smiles. Heard about Hailtech. Impressive. Got any room for a numbers girl like me? Trent's grin was oil slick. Julia Hale?
The smart one.
Lily says you're independent. Code for expendable. Independent's my middle name, I shot back. But family's family. Let me run some projections. Off the books. He hesitated, then handed over a flash drive. Don't disappoint. As I slipped away into the night, drive burning a hole in my purse, I felt the first thrill of the hunt. Files inside, spreadsheets laced with shadows. Offshore transfers to Kuznetsov. Dates aligning with Dad's maintenance visits. It wasn't proof, not yet, but it was a thread. And I'd pull until the whole tapestry unraveled. But power's a drug, and I was hooked. Late nights turned obsessive. My apartment a war room of printouts and red string. Elena noticed, cornering me after a shift. Jules, you okay? You seem intense. Just chasing a dream, I said, forcing levity. Inside, I wondered if she sensed the shift the way I watched her now, gauging loyalty like a stock ticker. Then, the first crack, a call from an unknown number. MS. Hale, this is Detective Ramirez. NYPD. Routine follow-up on your father's accident. New evidence on the brakes. My heart seized. In the original timeline, this call never came, suppressed by Mom's lawyer connections. But I'd nudged it, anonymously tipping the tip line with the mechanic's name. Yes, I breathed, voice steady as steel. We'd like you to come in. Tomorrow. Game on. The precinct smelled like stale coffee and broken promises, a fluorescent-lit purgatory where dreams went to die under stacks of case files. Detective Ramirez was a compact guy in his 40s, salt and pepper buzz cut, eyes that had seen too many family implosions. He ushered me into a box of an interview room. Offered water I declined. MS. Hale. Thanks for coming. This is about your dad. Richard. Crash in 23. I nodded, playing the grieving daughter, eyes downcast, fingers twisting a cheap ring.
Inside.
My mind was a calculator, tallying odds. Anything to help. He slid a folder across the table. Photos. The mangled Porsche. Skid marks like accusations. Brake line sabotage. Not wear and tear. We're looking at foul play. The word hung heavy. Foul play. I died knowing it, but hearing it official, it was absolution and arsenic.
Who?
Why? That's what we're asking. Anyone benefit? Insurance? Mom's payout. $2 million. Straight to Lily's ventures. I feigned shock. Let a tear track down.
God. No.
We were wrecked. Mom's been a mess. Ramirez leaned in. And your sister? Close to your dad. Lily? Worshipped him. Lie number 1. She'd resented his lectures on her frivolity. I fed him crumbs. Access to the car. Odd silences after the crash. Enough to hook. Not enough to reel. By the time I left, the hook was set. Ramirez promised discretion, but I knew better. Cops talk. Lawyers listen. Mom would hear whispers soon.
Good.
Let paranoia fester. Back home, I encrypted the flash drive's files on a burner laptop, cross-referencing with SEC filings I'd pulled. ALLDAY's incorporation docs, Mom as silent partner, Trent as CEO, Lily as CFO. Signatures dated weeks before Dad's death. Coincidence? In my world, no such thing. Elena's text buzzed. Vanguard interview nailed. Oh, you big.
Perfect.
I replied. Lunch tomorrow. Got a tip that'll make your career.
Bait.
Lunch was at a quiet bistro in Soho. The kind with overpriced salads and underpaid waitstaff. Elena arrived glowing. Power suit hugging her curves like armor. Jules. You're a goddess. Spill the tea. What's the tip? I sipped my iced tea. Casual. Ever hear of ALLDAY? My sister's startup. They're courting big foreign money. Russian. Maybe sketchy. Her fork paused midair. Sketchy how? Laundering vibes. Offshore shells. I saw docs, projections that don't add up. Half-truth. Enough to intrigue without implicating. Elena's eyes sharpened. That predatory glint I remembered from the trial. Why tell me? Because you're family now. And if it blows up, we ride the wave together. Trust me? Never. But greed? That I could bank on. She bit. Send me what you've got. Discreetly. By nightfall. Files en route. Watermarked. Traceable back to her if needed. Step 2. Isolate. Family dinner that week was a minefield. Mom's eyes were puffy, like she'd been crying over old photo albums. Lily chattered about wedding colors, ivory. Not white. For purity, but her laugh rang false. Trent was absent. Business in D.C. As plates cleared, Mom cornered me in the hall. Julia, have you spoken to anyone about your father? My pulse spiked, but I played dumb. Like who? Therapy?
No. Mom.
Why? She waved it off. But the damage was done, suspicion seated. Lily shot me a glare across the table, the kind that said, watch yourself. I smiled back.
Sweet as pie.
The wedding loomed like a guillotine, 6 months out. I threw myself into helping venue scouting, vendor calls, all while eavesdropping. One afternoon at the brownstone, Lily left her laptop open. Password, still her birthday. Emails to Trent. Victor wants assurances. The payout clears next week. Julia's sniffing, handle it. Handle it. Like Dad.
Like me.
In the future. Rage boiled. But I snapped pics. Forwarded to Elena anonymously. Then, the pushback. A call from Trent. Julia? Love the enthusiasm. But ease up on the audits. We're family. Family first, I purred. Just making sure it's bulletproof. His chuckle was ice. It is. But curiosities can be costly. Threat noted. I hung up, heart racing, and dialed Ramirez from a payphone. Update, my sister's involved. Financials tied to the car work. Jesus. MS.
Hail.
You sure? Surer than sin. The investigation accelerated. Subpoenas flew, subtle. But Lily noticed when her bank froze a transfer. She confronted me over coffee. Our first real clash since the reset. What's your game? Jules? Digging into Hail Tech? Mom's freaking out. I stirred my latte. Innocent. Just curious. You said I could help. Help? You're sabotaging. Her voice cracked. Mask slipping. For a second, I saw the girl who'd stolen my Barbies. Not the killer. Sabotaging success?
Nah.
Just truth-seeking. I leaned in. Like with Dad. Brakes don't fail on Porsches. Her face drained. What did you say? You heard. The air thickened, charged like a storm front. She grabbed my wrist. Nails digging. Stay out of it, Julia. Or you'll regret it. I yanked free.
Standing.
Threats? Classy.
Lil.
See you at the altar. That night. Alone. The weight hit. Revenge tasted like ash. Every step forward unearthed more rot. But at what cost? Elena texted. Files gold. Tipped SEC anonymously. Your sister's toast. Loyalty? Or opportunism? I didn't care.
Yet.
October brought rain and revelations. Ramirez called. We got warrants. Brake tampering confirmed. Suspect. Unknown female. Per mechanic's sketch. Matches your sister. I feigned horror. Oh God. Stay safe. MS.
Hail.
Families turn ugly fast. Understatement. Mom invited me over to talk, her voice brittle. The brownstone felt smaller. Shadows longer. She poured scotch, Dad's brand, and we sat by the fire. Julia. Something's wrong. Lily's unraveling. And you. You're different. Stronger. Life hardens you, I said,
Sipping.
like it did Dad. Her eyes welled. He was so proud of you. You know. The fighter. Lily was the dreamer. We invested in her because she needed it more. Liar. The word slipped. Soft but seismic. She flinched. What? You drained his brakes. For her dreams. Mine be damned. Silence stretched, broken only by the hearth's crackle. Then, confession. Not full, but cracks. It was an accident. The mechanic. Trent pushed. For the money. I covered it. For Lily. For us.
Us.
Never me. I stood.
Cold.
Us died with him. Enjoy your empire. It's crumbling. As I left, her sobs echoed. Victory?
Or just the first casualty?
Lily's wedding was a circus on the brink. The plaza glittered. guests in tuxes and gowns oblivious to the storm. I walked in as maid of honor, ironic armor, bouquet hiding my phone. Recording. Trent cornered me in the bridal suite. Call off the dogs. Julia. Or Elena's next. We know about her SEC play. My blood froze. Touch her. And Kuznetsov hears about your skim. Bluff. But it landed. His face twisted, ugly under the veneer. You bitch. Family trait. The ceremony was farce, vows exchanged under crystal chandeliers. Lily radiant in white, Trent's smile a rictus. Reception swirled, champagne toasts. First dance to some sappy ballad. I slipped away to the balcony. Rain pattering on the awning. City lights blurring like tears. Elena found me there, tipsy and triumphant. It's done. Feds raiding Hail Tech tomorrow. Your tip was key. Ours. I almost corrected. But instead, run with it. Get the byline. She hugged me.
Fierce.
You're the real MVP. Jules.
Was I?
As fireworks popped over Central Park, doubt nod. Revenge was a mirror, reflecting monsters.
Then.
The call, Ramirez. Arrests incoming. Your mom and sister. Trent too. I hung up, rejoining the party. Lily caught my eye across the floor. Mid-waltz. Accusation in her stare. I raise my glass.
To ends.
But ends have twists. The raid hit at dawn, like a thunderclap in the gray November chill. I watched from a coffee shop across from the brownstone, steam fogging the window as squad cars swarmed. Mom in her robe, hands cuffed behind her pearls. Lily, hair a mess, screaming obscenities at the uniforms.
Trent,
dragged from his Bentley, spitting threats in broken English. The neighbors gawked from stoops. Phones out, turning tragedy into TikTok fodder. Justice? Or just spectacle? Ramirez texted, clean sweep. Your intel sealed it. Breaks. Money trail, all tied. I deleted it. Heart a hollow drum. Years of resentment, boiled down to this: blue lights and betrayal on loop. The news cycle exploded by noon. CNN. Heiress scandal. Family empire built on father's murder. Fox. Twisted sisters. Greed kills in Manhattan. Social media was a bonfire. Hail betrayal trending. Memes of Lily's ring sinking like the Titanic. Elena's byline in the Post. Inside the fall of Hail Tech, a whistleblower's tale. She hadn't named me, but the subtext screamed. Mom's lawyer called first, hers, not mine. Julia, this is madness. Your mother's distraught. Come down to the station. Family sticks together. I laughed, a bark that echoed in my empty apartment. Tell her bootstraps. Counselor. Lily's call came next. From a holding cell. Voice muffled. Desperate. Jules? Jesus. What did you do? Mom's having a breakdown. They think we killed Dad. You did, I said. Flat. I remember. Silence. Then a sob.
What?
You're crazy.
Please.
Help us. The plea twisted something ancient in me. The little sister who'd bandaged her scraped knees. Shared secrets under covers. But ghosts don't forgive. Rot for what you sowed. I hung up, blocking the number. But sleep evaded. Nightmares looping the rooftop. Her hands on my back, not pushing, pleading. Was it real? Or Mercy's mirage? The arraignment was a circus. Downtown courthouse. Paparazzi a frenzy. I slipped in back, incognito in a hoodie and shades. Mom looked shrunken, pleading not guilty to conspiracy and fraud. Lily, defiant in orange jumpsuits that clashed with her highlights, eyes scanning the crowd until they locked on me. Hate.
Pure.
Trent copped a deal already. Rat to save skin. Spilling on Kuznetsov.
Outside.
Ramirez found me. You did good.
Hail.
Closes the book. Books never closed, I muttered. Thanks.
Though.
He nodded, wise to the scars. Get out of town for a bit. Heal.
Heal.
As if. Vanguard called that afternoon. Elena's doing. Julia Hale, we're impressed with your initiative. Junior analyst. Starts Monday. Elena vouches hard. I took it. Voice steady. Grateful. See you there. But gratitude soured quick. Elena cornered me at happy hour. All grins and gimlets. Babe, you're welcome. That promotion? Mine. Because of you. Hers, the byline. The tip-off. I'd handed her the ladder. Glad it worked out. Her eyes narrowed. Tipsy truth slipping. Look, I had to hedge.
If it backfired, couldn't tie to you.
But hey, we both win.
Win.
The word chafed. By week's end, rumors swirled, Elena angling for my spot already. Whispering to the boss about my family baggage. History rhymed, betrayals ugly tune. December crept in. Snow dusting the streets like powdered lies. Mom wrote from Rikers, letters pleading innocence. Blaming Trent. Begging visits. I did it for us. Julia. To keep the dream alive. Forgive. Forgive? I burned them in the sink. Watching flames lick the page. Lilies followed, rants turning to regrets. I was scared. Dad favored you.
The push.
It was a dream.
Right? God.
What have I done? The rooftop. She confessed? Or my subconscious weaving fictions? Doubt festered. A cancer. Christmas Eve. Alone in Brooklyn, Vanguard perks meant a better apartment now. But solitude stung. I cracked. Dialed Ramirez. Off record. Elena's dirty. Leaking to Trent Prierade. He sighed. Knew it. She's on our list. You? Clean. For once. Just tying loose ends. New Year's brought the trial. Media meat grinder. Prosecutors painting Mom as Lady Macbeth. Lily as the spoiled serpent. Evidence mounted emails.
Wire transfers.
The mechanic's tearful testimony. Miss Lily said, "Make it quiet." Thought it was a joke.
Joke.
Like my life. I testified last. Under oath. The stand felt like a confessional. Judge's gavel a priest's absolution. They chose her. Always. Invested everything: money, love, future. I was the afterthought. So they erased Dad. Framed me when I got close. Gasps rippled. Lily's glare burned from the defense table. Mom wept. Silent. Cross-exam. MS. Hale. Motive for fabrication? Jealousy. Perhaps.
No.
Steal. Survival. The jury deliberated 2 days. Verdict: guilty. All counts. Sentencing loomed, 20+ years.
Minimum.
Outside.
Snow fell thick.
Elena texted, "Congrats? Drinks?" I replied, busy. Then forwarded her chats with Trent to Ramirez. Checkmate. But victory hollowed me. Walking home. Manhattan's lights mocked, holiday cheer for everyone but the Avenger. At my door, a package, unmarked, heavy. Inside, Dad's old watch, engraved to Julia, pull us up. And a note. Mom's script, it was always you. Forgive? Tears came then, hot and unbidden. Always me? Liar's last gasp. Spring thawed the city.
But not me.
Vanguard promoted me senior analyst. Corner office view.
Elena?
Sidelined, then fired when her leak surfaced. She called. Voice venom. You set me up.
You bitch.
After everything. Everything. I echoed. You sold me out first. In the life I remember. What the hell does that mean? Means karma's a circle.
Click.
Kuznetsov's extradition made headlines. FBI raid. International intrigue. Hale Tech dissolved. Assets seized. Lily appealed from prison. Letters turning philosophical. We were monsters because they made us.
But you?
You're free.
Free.
The word echoed as I stood on my old rooftop, not the death spot, but a new high-rise. Wind whipping my coat. Below, the city pulsed, indifferent. I'd won. Empire crumbled. Sins aired. But the cost? A sister in stripes. A mother broken. A father forever ghost. Twist came unannounced. Ramirez's call. Late May. Hale, one more thing. Autopsy on your dad reopened. Poison trace in his system. Pre-crash. Someone dosed him slow. My knees buckled. Not just breaks.
Who?
Lab says female DNA. Not your mom or sister. Partial match. You.
Me? Impossible.
I died in 2025. After them. But rewind, had I? In the chaos. A memory flickered. Me. In grief's fog. Slipping something into a scotch. For the pain, I'd thought. Morphine from a vet friend. To ease his cancer lies. But lethal dose?
No. Couldn't be.
Ramirez. Voluntary surrender? Or we come get you. The line died. I stared at the ledge. Wind howling judgment. Betrayal's web, mine too. I'd poisoned the well. Unknowing accomplice. The revenge? A mirror. Reflecting my own rot. Summer scorched the city again. Humidity clinging like regret. But I was already gone, slipping through cracks I'd carved myself. No surrender. No dramatic fall. Just a one-way ticket to Vancouver. Fake ID courtesy of a dark web contact I'd cultivated in the war room days. Julia Hale dissolved into Emma Ruiz, barista by day.
Ghost by night.
The news back home spun wild. Heiress vanishes, fugitive or framed job? Ramirez hunted quiet. Leaks suggested he doubted the talks report. Partial matches being science's gray area. But doubt didn't stop warrants. Mom's final letter. Smuggled via a guard. If it's you they blame.
Run.
We deserved it.
Love.
Finally.
Mom. Love.
Too late. Or just in time. Lily's appeals dragged. Her missives turning confessional. I pushed you in dreams. Jewels. Nightmares. But you pushed back, harder. Be free for both of us. Dreams. Maybe mine too. The poison of phantom guilt. Or truth. Buried deep. Elena faded to irrelevance, another scandal. Her own, tanking her career. Last I heard, waitressing in Jersey, cursing my name. Trent flipped fully, testifying against Kuznetsov in a federal circus, vanishing into witness protection. The empire?
Ash.
Auctioned off to pay victims. Vancouver suited the reinvention. Rain-slick streets. Mountains like sentinels. Anonymity in coffee shops where accents blurred origins. I poured lattes with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Saved tips for a future untethered. Nights. I wrote, not for publication, but catharsis. A memoir in fragments, the spare tire's guide to burning rubber. One evening, as fog rolled off the harbor, a familiar face pierced the veil. Ramirez, incognito in a wool coat, nursing black coffee at the counter. Emma? Or should I say Julia? My hand froze on the pot. Fight or flight. Refill. He chuckled.
Low. Sit.
Off books. We moved to a corner booth. Rain pattering the window like hesitant applause. Tox was a red herring, he said, sliding a file. Contaminated sample, lab error. You're clear. Relief crashed. Title. Why tell me? Because you closed it. The Hales?
Done.
Mom's got 10 with parole. Lily. 15.
There.
Reflecting. In cages of their making. And me.
Go.
But if you ever want back. He left a card. Faded NYPD shield. I pocketed it, nodding. Thanks, detective. As he left, the weight lifted, not gone, but lighter. Trungsin wasn't just rewind, it was rewrite. Months blurred to a year. Emma Ruiz thrived, promoted to manager, dating a quiet artist named Kai who sketched harbors and asked no questions.
Julia Hale?
A scar.
Fading.
I visited New York once. Incognito, brownstones sold. Ghosts evicted. Stood on the old rooftop.
No puszcz.
No plummet. Just wind and whimsy. The twist's echo lingered, that poisoned doubt. Therapy in Vancouver unpacked it, grief's alchemy, turning love to toxin. I'd eased Dad's hidden pain, not caused it. Mom's lie, to protect his image. Cancer. Stage 4. Undisclosed. The crash? Escape. Not murder. Brakes sabotaged by Trent alone. Mom and Lily covering for love. Not greed.
No.
Wait. Truth layered like onion. Peeling to pulp. Final letters confirmed. Dad's suicide note. Burned. For the girls' futures. They'd honored it twisted, investing in Lily to spite his favoritism of me. Cycle of wrongs. Mine included. Forgiveness? Not yet. But understanding? A start. 2 years in. A package arrived. Dad's watch. Repaired. Ticking steady. Inside, Mom's parole photo. Smiling frail. Free now. Lily next year. Dinner? Vancouver or New York, neutral ground. I strapped it on. Time's weight familiar.
Kay noticed, asked.
Family, I said. The real kind. He kissed my temple. Good. The call came spring 2027. Lily out. Reformed. Voice tentative. Jules? If you're listening. I am.
Pause.
Ocean waves crashing behind me.
I'm sorry.
For everything. The investment. It was fear. You were always the strong one. Was I? Laughter. Shared.
Tentative.
Rebuild started slow. Emails. Calls. A tentative visit. Mom in a halfway house. Lily in therapy, irony's gift. No empire. Just echoes.
Elena.
Crossed paths once. In an airport lounge, awkward nods. No words. Closure's quiet. Me.
Julia Hale Reborn.
Not vengeful specter, but survivor. Vanguard, headhunted remotely, consultant gig. Flexible. Kai and I married on a beach. Vows whispered to salt wind. No more spares. Partners. The end? Not by kitsch.
Bút có hậu, twice that.
Earned. Betrayal's blade cuts both ways. But healing? That's the real revenge. Living fuller. Fiercer. With the scars as stars. As the sun dipped over the Pacific, watch glinting, I whispered to the ghost. We made it, Dad. Bootstraps and all. And for the first time, the city, mine now, whispered back, welcome home.